Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Ryan. I'm the head of sales in the Asia Pacific and Japan region for Innovyze, which is an Autodesk company. Today, I'd like to take you through a brief agenda, giving you a bit of an introduction of Innovyze, because some of you may have never heard of us before. I'll give you a bit of an overview of what the customers that we deal with are doing, and then explain a little bit about what water modeling does. Following on from that, I'm going to walk through the solutions that cover those areas and then talk about the products that Autodesk has in their portfolio from Innovyze to taking to the market. And then lastly, what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about digital twins for water, because we have a different way of approaching it compared to a lot of other organizations. So firstly, let's talk a little bit about Innovyze. Innovyze is a company that's been based around the world for over 45 years. In Asia Pacific, we're based out of our major office, which is located in Brisbane, Australia. And we have representatives around the region. Here in Australia, we've also have a channel manager that's based in Singapore, and we've got a bunch of resellers around the region as well. We have dedicated engineers here to help you with water, sewer, stormwater, flooding, and asset management, which are the key areas that the Autodesk water solutions cover. As you can see on the screen, we have resellers located all the way around Asia, including Hong Kong, that are already set up and ready to deal with your clients. The really cool thing from our perspective is that we're looking at how we can support water infrastructure to over half the world's population in this region. Now, that's a big thing for us to focus on, because there's so much of the region that are still yet to get clean drinking water or still yet to get sanitary sewer networks. And that will help with not only the opportunities for the people and the population in the region, but more importantly, it helps with the healthcare benefits of it as well. As you can see from this graphic, we have a lot of big numbers on that screen. The strength in numbers, we have a lot of clients. It's well over 3,500 now. We deal with every top engineering firm in the world. We have over 60 countries where our product is installed and used to manage water infrastructure. As I mentioned, we've got over 45 years of experience, and we actually cover most of the top cities all the way around the world, helping them with their water problems. But the real key thing we need to understand is, what are the water problems? Well, water utilities and municipal councils, which are running water infrastructure, have a lot of different problems, as you see coming up on the screen. Their targets and what they do is now extremely visible. Environmental government departments are all looking at this environment and having a look at what is happening with water infrastructure to the impact on the population. There's also financial pressures in there. How do they recover from a massive disruption? In Manila a few years ago, they ran out of water in the capital city. The pipes went dry, they had to get water in. Once the water came in and it rained again and they could start actually doing it, it took a long time to clean out all the mess that was in the pipes and recharge that network to enable clean drinking water to go to somebody's house. So how do you plan for that? All of the information that they're getting nowadays, there's sensors on networks, they're getting information from the people who construct and design the pipes in the ground. How do you know that information is up to date? How do you know that's actually the right network? How do you mitigate risks? How do you look at the issues associated with flooding? In Asia right now, there is a lot of work going on with coastal-based flooding. So how do you know if the sea level rises, where the water will actually run in your environment? And we've got solutions which actually address all of these things that are on screen at the moment. But what is water modeling? Very good question. Water modeling is about actually doing a representation of what the real world network looks like in an electronic platform. Sounds a bit similar to a lot of Autodesk's traditional products. But it's about going to the full water cycle. So where water comes in, is it coming in from a bore? Is it coming in from a dam? Is it coming in from water tanks? How does that get to someone to use? What's the pressure requirement that they need? Are there any leakages or breakages in the pipeline along the way? If you have a sanitary network in there, what happens when they flush the toilet? Does that network go all the way back to a water treatment plant nice and easy, or are there other issues associated with it? And with the recycled water, which is becoming a big topic around the world, plus desalination, how do you know with the water that's coming from those environments that they're clean, that they're suitable for human consumption? And how does that impact the pressure in your network when you pump them through? And that's what a water model does. That's where Innovyze comes in. So what do? We've got 5 different segments across the water market that you can see on screen here. So water distribution is about clean, potable drinking water. Stormwater, sewer, and flood modeling is one product that we have which can actually do all of those things in the same platform. Sanitary sewer network design, stormwater network design, and how to predict what happens in a flood or when you get a flood inundation event. Then we've got asset management requirements. So how do you manage the assets that are in that network around the place? So we actually have solutions in place that help financial and outcome-based environments, which I'll touch on shortly. Operational analytics. Operational analytics is how you actually do evidence-based planning. What is going on in our network? We can see there's a leak there. How do we remediate it? What do we do about it? How do we fix it? And then we've got our drainage design and analysis tools in a product called Info Drainage, which is directly connected to Autodesk Civil 3D. So in the water distribution network, we're looking at doing what if scenario planning. So if there's a breakage in this location, how do I fix it, having the least amount of impact on the people around it? It's basically doing a situation where you can manage water pressures. What's the water quality like? Are there any leaks showing in the network? And with leaks, that means non-revenue water is what it's called, which means that there's water that a water utility would typically charge a consumer or a home user to use is leaking out of the system. And in a lot of parts of the world, it's well over 50% of the water that goes into their pipes is lost through leaks. So if you can imagine the water crisis, which we have across the world, and half of that water is coming in and going back out into the environment, what would happen if we fix that? Would we be able to have better water? Would we be able to have more water because we're not losing it? Plus the ability to connect to telemetry systems gives the ability to have your models updated in near real time. So effectively a digital twin. And we do the same thing in the sewer network, but a product that we deal with, the sewer network, also supports stormwater and flooding, because it's important to understand when you have a big rain event, you have lots of rain, like a monsoon come through, where does that water go? Does it go into your sewer network? Does it make the sewer network full? Does it then have sewer water running out all over the place? So you have a big environmental and healthcare problem on your hands. It's the ability to limit the flooding because you can plan for it. You can understand where water goes and what it can do. You can then also, once again, connect it to your SCADA and telemetry system and have all of that updated in near real time. From the flooding side of things, there's parts of Japan, Europe, and Australia are currently using this product on predictability and forecasting of what a flood could potentially do to the environment to give them enough time to move people out of flood-prone areas. But more importantly, with all of this is about making sure that the compliance with regards to the water quality is always there. Asset management, as I touched on, is about managing the pipes, managing the valves, everything that goes into that network, so you can understand what's the likelihood that something may break and what is the consequence if that breaks. And it gives the financial planning associated with repair and ongoing maintenance on a regular basis. Well, after a few years of using this product, if you've never used one before, you can start to predict almost to the dollar exactly how much money you can have to spend on maintenance on an environment of your water networks and sewer networks. It also integrates into field workforce management tools, so that the trucks and the men and women who are out on the street doing the work, they can use an iPad to actually, capture information, and then that automatically dynamically changes the calculations of the asset management. Operational analytics, once again, it's about looking at how the environment is working. How much power are you using to pump water around the place? Do you need to have the pump running 24 hours a day? Do you need to have better pressure? Do you need to be able to have, an ability to work on how your costs are being structured? This can all be done through our operational analytics products. You can build your own dashboards. You can build your own reports, which are extremely important for the management of a water utility to understand where their environment is and where their money is going. So Autodesk for water. There's really 4 major products on the market right as of now from Autodesk that are built by Innovyze. Info drainage, I touched on it shortly, a little earlier. It gives you the ability to do urban drainage design in a sustainable way. And it is directly connected to Civil 3D. It's fully integrated. You launch the product out of Civil 3D, and then you can design your drains, you can design your manholes, everything that needs to happen on drainage for a residential development, a big commercial office park, can all be done in that environment. Once the analysis has been done to confirm the drainage is correct, it sends that information back into Civil 3D so you can continue on your way. It's a very valuable tool to work in the Civil 3D space. Our ICM product is the one I was talking about with regards to storm, sewer, and flooding. In water distribution, we also have 2 products. InfoWater Pro, it relies on having an ARC Esri GIS Pro license. It works inside the Esri GIS Pro. But InfoWorks WS Pro is for clients who don't have that environment because it has its own built-in GIS that can be used. Both of those products are world-leading. They give you the ability to do all the modeling associated with clean drinking water networks. A couple of other products which are not out yet, but they're not too far away, is our asset management product called Info360 Asset, and the operational analytics products, which will be coming out based upon a platform which we call Info360. So they're still relatively new, but they'll be coming out to the market in the not too distant future. One of the other things I wanted to point out to you is, why did Autodesk buy Innovyze? Well, Innovyze being the world leader in water modeling and asset management and operational tools for the water industry, actually directly fits into the whole portfolio that Autodesk already has that is addressing that market. As you can see on screen, on the left-hand side, we have, where does the water come from? Is it from a dam? Is it from a canal, etc.? Drainage requirements, drinking water distribution, sewer, stormwater flooding, and waste and industrial wastewater. How do you plan for construction for something? Well, you guys are the best at it at Autodesk, right? So if you have a look at the planning solutions that are there with regards to the water side of things, right next door to it is an Innovyze product. In water resources, we've got InfoWorks ICM. In drainage, there's Info Drainage. In water distribution, there's the 2 water products I spoke about before. Storm, sewer, flood, it's right there again. And then you can design and do the analysis on what you're planning to build with the water environment in our products. And then it goes to the final design aspects, which includes the Civil 3D and Revit and all the tools that you guys already know about. Then somebody goes and builds it. Autodesk Construction Cloud comes in. But the real key thing is where Innovyze comes into it, is actually at the back end with the operate and maintain side of things. So we have our Insight Analytics products and Imagine, which is our operational AI platform. We have Tandem, which will work with the different products. You've got Assets. You can even use the InfoWorks ICM and WS Pro products over there to help with regards to operate and maintain. But what in essence this whole diagram is showing is from concept to operate and maintain and then disposal, Autodesk, using Innovyze products within that portfolio, is the only solution on the market that can go the full asset lifecycle for water. It's a very unique thing. And as you can see by the little red boxes, it's just highlighting all of those places. The last thing I wanted to touch on, though, was talking about digital twins. Now, digital twins in the construction space, you know that it has been around for a long time. But what about for water? We have a very innovative way to look at it, and it's built upon this. Is an organization called the Smart Water Networks Forum. It is a global not-for-profit association that water utilities and engineering firms are members of around the world. A few years ago, they went out to the market and went, what are we going to do for a digital twin solution for the water industry. We've seen it around for construction for a while, but what about water? Water is very different. So they basically looked at the physical system, including the controls and the monitoring and the operational systems, etc., and then went to a plan to replicate it as a digital twin. How do you get the data integrated? How do you do analytics on it? How do you visualize it on dashboards and things, and how the user experience works? Well, the good thing is that Swan saw the benefits of Innovyze being part of this profile, and we've actually got products in place which meet all of these environments. The one that I can't sort of do right now, but courtesy of a new acquisition from Autodesk, is the augmented reality side of things. So it's going to be coming at some stage in the future. But the way that we approach digital twins is it's not one solution. There is actually 5. There's a water one, a stormwater sewer one, there's a drainage one, there's assets, and then there's the operational environment for treatment plants and things like that. Due to the uniqueness of the water industry, it's impossible to get one digital twin that covers everything. So water utilities are now, and a lot of them here in Australia and Japan and in China and across the Americas and Europe, are all looking at how digital twins can work based upon those 5 platforms, because it's addressing the needs of the water side, it addresses the needs for the sewer, et cetera, et cetera. So there's no one size fits all in the water industry. But the one thing I want to make sure that you understand is that we are here to help you. So with your clients, if they're in water, if they're looking at water, if they are a water utility, bring them and introduce an Innovyze person through Autodesk to them. We can help understand what their needs are. We can help scope a solution for that. And then we can help you solve their problems together. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much for the opportunity to present to you today. I hope that's given you a bit of a taste of what Innovyze can do to assist, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.